Hello, and this is for students in my Teaching Young Adult Literature class offered at Utah State University. I'm going to give a book talk, but this one is going to be really a jumbo or enhanced book talk. And I'm doing that so I can explain a little bit about what book talks are. Normally, book talks are no more than 2 minutes in length, and their purpose is to sell the book. Okay, and so what I'm going to do is give you a book talk today, and it is tied to a specific date. Very often, my spring semester classes in teaching young adult literature begin on about January 6th, and that is the celebration of Epiphany, 12th night. And so I like to start my class in spring semester, January 6th, with a real bang. And I do that with a book talk that's really calendared on that date. But I also bring in King's Cake. And King's Cake is a tradition that goes back centuries and is still done in places like New Orleans, in which the 12th night celebration, which is the end of Christmas days, is celebrated with this cake. And the baker inserts a bean or a pea or a coin, some kind of token, and whoever gets that token is charged with the responsibility of hosting the next year's uh, celebration. And so that's a lot of fun. I also bring in something called British firecrackers. And again, this is another tradition that's done for Epiphany. And these are not firecrackers as we think about in 4th of July, but they're actually kind of like toilet tissue tubes. And then they're have a puzzle, a joke, and a little gift in that. They're wrapped in foil, and then what people do is actually pull them apart. And embedded in that cracker is just a little device that makes a bang when it goes off. And there are also crowns in those crackers, firecrackers, and so all of us in our class don those for the celebration of Epiphany or 12th night. So here goes with a book talk that's appropriate for January the 6th. It's January the 6th, the first day of our class. In medieval times, it's Epiphany. It's the celebration of 12th night, the end of Christmas, the end of the 12 days of Christmas. Uh, do any of you know what Epiphany is? Well, if you're thinking it's about when the wise men arrived in Bethlehem, you would be right. Another vocabulary word that's going to come up in the selection from the historical novel I'm going to read from is the term mummers. Some of you may have been in a folklore class in which you acted like mummers. Well, they're players. They're players, what we might call actors now, who come in and do a bit of a farce. And you can still see the Mummers Parade today in Philadelphia. Well, let me introduce you to Catherine called Birdy. She is the 14-year-old protagonist of Karen Cushman's historical novel. And Catherine uh, is keeping a diary in this late 13th century novel. It's 200 years before Columbus would sail the ocean blue. And it's about 300 years before the first Anglos will land in what will become the United States of America. The Crusades are winding down. Edward I sits on the throne of England, and in a manor house near Lincoln, which is a cathedral city, this rather minor knight is entertaining suitors for his reluctant daughter, who is nicknamed Birdy for the birds that she keeps caged in her room. Well, let's turn to Birdy's diary entry of January 6th, as it's a special feast day. 6th day of January, feast of the Epiphany, the 12th day of Christmas. The end of Christmas. Mayhap I will soon have my chamber and my bed to share with only the usual residents. At dinner today, my mother found the bean in her 12th cake and chose my father to be king. I found the pea and was queen. My father and I had to sit next each other for the mumming and lead the dancing and eat together at supper. I could hardly swallow from being so near the beast for so long. I wish I'd just eaten the pea and told no one. The best part of the day was when the mummers came in, all wigged and masked, donkeys and kings and giants, singing and stomping and clashing their wooden swords. They hardly looked like the villagers I knew, although I recognized Sim by his enormous feet, and John Atwood by his red hair, which poked right through his Father Christmas wig. Spoke John, "In come I, old Father Christmas, welcome or welcome not. I hope old Father Christmas will never be forgot." And the play began with knights and dragons and battles and the wondrous rebirth of St. George. Perkin was St. George. "Here come I, St. George. I am called St. George, for St. George is my name." And he looked golden and beautiful, like a saint, and not much like a goat boy, even when his golden wig fell off and Brutus ate it. The dragon he battled was fearsome and bellowed so convincingly that I forgot it was but paper and wood and gears from the mill. "I am the iron dragon which no sword can undo. I eat the small, the pure, the young, and spit their bones at you." It was gruesome and ugly and will give me nightmares. Perfect. Well, while the main plot of Catherine Calls Birdy focuses on the conflict between Birdy and her father and her reluctance to marry, another subplot involves the 1290 Edict of Expulsion, removing Jews from England. Will Birdy be free, or will she be just as caged as are her birds? I recommend this historical novel by Catherine Fishman.